Welcome back to Restoration Bible Study. Today we are summarizing the book of Proverbs. And it's very simple. The book of Proverbs was written by the wisest king known in the world at the time. And the goal is to help you understand where wisdom comes from, how to live a wise life, what fools look like, and how they live, and encourages you to live wisely and not foolishly. And of course, at the end of the book of Proverbs is describing the ideal woman who doesn't exist. And I don't mean that in any offensive way. It's just when you dream of an ideal person, you realize that none of us are perfect. The scripture is full of non-ideal men. The only person who we should emulate is Jesus Christ, the most perfect man who ever lived. But everyone else is just a little bit here and there. So without further ado, let's just go through a high-level view of Proverbs. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. That is knowledge and wisdom. The fools despise wisdom and instruction. So if people don't fear the Lord and live in wisdom, they're fools. In Proverbs 1, starting verse 20, wisdom is identified as female. And I believe that this is the woman giving birth to creation in Revelation chapter 12. That the red dragon, who we call Satan or Lucifer, though it's technically not his real name, hates and wants to go after, because Satan is a fool. But as we go through the book of Proverbs, you're going to see that the wise will fear the Lord, they will care for the sick and the poor, they will be generous with their hearts, they'll stay away from the adulterers, that is relational immorality, including relational workers, and the deceit of riches, while the fools will live in their sins, take part in relational immorality. They will not listen to reason. They will not obey the Lord. They devise evil and violence. They hurt good people. So if you're wondering why there's so much suffering in this world, it's because the world is full of sinful fools who cause suffering on people. Don't blame God for giving us free will and then for us choosing not to listen to him. The Lord doesn't just weigh your actions, he weighs your heart. He wants your love. He wants your affections. The foolish people don't even give him any credit. They ignore him, act like he doesn't exist. Scripture also tells you to work hard and don't be lazy. Those who work hard and diligently can build their wealth over time. Stay away from get-rich-quick schemes. Foolish people will waste their money or be too lazy to go out and actually make and earn anything. Good, wise, generous people typically end up with more influence because the Lord likes to give more to those who will do well in his eyes for his mission. But those who mock, who speak against the Lord, who live by their own ways and see that their ways in their own eyes is right and everyone else is wrong, those are the ones who spread destruction in the society that we live in. And that's Christians and non-Christians alike. Foolishness does not discriminate. People of all different colors and backgrounds can be fools. Likewise, anyone from any background can be wise. People who are quick to anger cause nothing but conflict. But wise people learn to control their tempers and control what they say so that they can bless people with their mouths instead of putting them down. Submission to the laws that govern the land, in this case, given by kings, in our case, given by our government. We don't always have to agree with our president, but we cannot disobey the laws in protest. The Lord does not want you to take revenge on your own, but the Lord will judge righteously on those who are evil and cause pain. We need to live in community. We need to think about how we act and what we say in order to make sure that we live in harmony and peace with those around us. We weren't meant to live in a vacuum. When we're isolated, that's when we are the most vulnerable to the kingdom of darkness. Parents, we're called to discipline our kids. We don't have to beat them, but we have to set up boundaries to make sure they know how to properly behave, to treat people with respect and love, to live self-controlled lives, fearing the Lord, not living in foolishness, but living in wisdom. And there are people in this country who think that we shouldn't have any discipline, and so they won't discipline their kids. And you raise a lot of sociopathic, selfish, entitled children who only care about themselves and contribute to more suffering in this world. Back then, people used the rod to discipline their kids. But now, we have other ways to do it. But you have to do it. Whether you're rich or you're poor, the Lord makes you. Don't envy those who have a lot. And for those of you who have much, give and be generous to those who don't have. Why? Because through that interaction, it displays the love of God, that he takes care of those who don't have much in this world. Stay away from cheap people. They like to count your friendship in pennies, but be with those who are generous. Don't envy sinners and those who get their wealth through deceit, lies, stealing, and other evil ways. Live righteously, even if you don't have much. The Lord will reward you. For those of you who build your wealth through evil means, the Lord will judge you and you will be punished. Build your house on wisdom, not foolishness. You have to apply yourself. Seek knowledge through the Lord on how to handle people in your world, whether it's your wife or your kids, your parents. When you see people you don't like fall, don't rejoice. The Lord cares about everyone. But the heart of Christ is, I wish everyone would do well, even if they hate me. But don't lie and present false witness to your neighbors. You got to help them out. Don't be evil. Take care of what you have. Don't always lose yourself pursuing the things you don't have. But if you have people in your life, love them. Enjoy their company. If you have a house, car, job, do your best to make sure that everything is in top shape. Be the best employee at your job. Make sure your car is taken care of. Patch up any holes in your house if you understand what I'm saying. If you can't be responsible for what you already have, God's not going to give you more things to be irresponsible with. Don't meddle into people's businesses. Don't slander them and gossip about them. God hates wickedness. He still hates sin. Jesus didn't die on the cross so you can sin more. He died on the cross so that sinners can be saved. You can come as you are, but you can't stay that way. You got to grow. Jesus fulfilling the law is to take the death penalty on himself to spare you from it so that you could potentially be saved. But the underworld is never satisfied. They'll keep taking more people. And more people today are going to the pit where they will suffer because they are faithless. They don't respect the Lord. They don't want him. They want to do it their way. And scripture is very clear. It says a fool is wise in his own eyes. Proverbs 28:14 says, blessed is the one who fears the Lord always, but whoever hardens his heart will fall into calamity. For those of you who have left the church, maybe at some point doing the church thing was important to you, but then you were mistreated at church, so you fell away, and now you completely turn against God. You think God cannot be known, and that religion is false. The Bible was just written by men, and you don't respect it. You've already made up your mind. There's no help for you. I can't help you because you've already chosen to block God out of your life. I can deal with someone who has hard questions. I can deal with someone who's seeking truth. But if you've already subscribed to a truth claim that is false, I can't help you. If you deny that there's a God, if you deny his Bible, which is his word, then there's nothing to talk about. I'm better off arguing with a wall. Be good to your fathers and mothers, even if they're struggling. Adulthood is hard. Parenthood is hard. Not everyone knows how to raise kids. Most of us are too immature to have kids, so give them a break. If you are an adult and you know how hard it is to work and pay bills for yourself, imagine having little ones that you have to raise up. It's hard out here. And then you have society looking down on how you parent your kids. Everyone's judging you, whether you do things that you think are right or whether you do things that they're justified in critiquing you on. Add to that the trauma that we go through as kids. Give parents grace. And here we are, the ideal woman. And in our society now, there are women who want to work and there are women who want to stay home and have kids and be a homemaker. They exist. I grew up in Boston. I lived on the East Coast and the West Coast in major cities. Most women there want to work and have financial independence. Scripture does not speak against that. Proverbs 31. Women here, they can buy fields and plant vineyards. They can make clothing and products to sell out there. They're business oriented. If that's the path you want to live, go for it. But living in Texas now, being in the South, I see women who just want to be wives and mothers and they want to stay home. Do it. Here in scripture in Proverbs 31, it also says a wise woman will feed her children and her husband. Her husband trusts her. She provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. If you want to be a homemaker, go for it. The problem here is that there are women out there who are extreme feminists who look down on women who want to stay at home. But you want to say, my body, my choice. Well, don't be a hypocrite. Don't judge the women who want to stay at home just because you want to go work. Scripture allows you to do either or both. And men, I understand you want to have your family a certain way. If you and your wife have different ideas, maybe you want her to stay at home, but she wants to go to work, that means you failed at dating. But you've already married, so y'all gotta figure it out. Dating is so important, you guys. Before you tie the knot, make sure you wanna live the same lifestyle. If a man wants to go out there and work and have wives who are homemakers, find a girl who wants to be a homemaker. Husbands, if you don't care if your wife goes out to work, find a girl who doesn't want to be a homemaker but wants a career. But in the dating phase, if a woman wants a career but you want a stay-at-home wife, don't continue dating. Just break up. Oh, I love this person. You can love other people. I have friends back in Boston who meet like 4 soulmates a year and have kids with them and become single moms. Not that I condone that, but the point here is this ideal woman that presumably King Solomon's mom wants for him. She is a homemaker and a businesswoman. So women, Scripture's not trying to get you back in the kitchen and hold you down. It gives you the freedom to either work or stay at home or do both. But the excellent woman here, she is the foundation of the family. She takes care of everyone. Whether she goes out there and works and brings home the bacon, or whether she stays at home, you're the nurturer, the carer. And in return, you get love. Your children will call you blessed. Your husband will love you and praise you. There's nothing wrong with that. And if your husband doesn't do it and he's a Christian, he's failing Ephesians 5, calling him to love you as Christ loved the church. He's just acting like a 1950s husband because his father or grandfather acted like a piece of crap and he wants to emulate that toxicity, which is not scriptural. Nowhere in Scripture does it say the husband goes out and works, comes home, kicks his feet up, ignores his children, and lays hands on his wife because she didn't have dinner on the table on time. Ephesians 5 says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. He gave himself up for her. We're supposed to love sacrificially. Now, if he's not a Christian, I don't have much to say to you. If you're a Christian woman marrying a non-Christian man, Scripture says you're unequally yoked. I can't speak to that person if they don't believe in God. And if you're both non-Christians, I don't know what to tell you. If you have marital problems, there's nothing I can really advise you on if you don't believe in Scripture. Go buy the self-help books that rip off Proverbs, and best of luck to you. I would prefer if you repented and followed Jesus Christ, then we can talk. But if you're not in the faith, I can't hold you to these standards. So that's it. Proverbs, done. I hope that you've learned a lot through this series. But now, we're going to go back to the New Testament. I've already read 2 of the Gospels to you. I think we should go into the book of Acts, which chronicles what happened to the disciples after Jesus ascended into heaven. Now, if you need a refresher, please go back to the Matthew or John series so you can understand who Jesus is and what he did. But let me take this second to thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in Acts 1-3.